Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you might be in the world. Here we are. I don't know where the other two are. They're flipping tardy. That's all I'll say. I just don't know what it is. But some of us have got the time right. And I've got an image for Bruce. Actually, I hope he's all right. The old man and all that, isn't he? Well, let's just jump straight into it. Stu, do you have a thing? Let's put that thing up. And that thing
straight away. Yep.
Yeah, straight away. Yeah. You've got to think. Well, we can dither around. Well, we don't have to do it straight away. DIYFPV. So
I do. I need to send you a better picture than that. I wonder if I can share my screen.
You should be able to.
This is all the professional stuff I should have asked before I came on. I should have known.
No.
What do I need?
No. We if you've not seen the stream before, we do not do professional stuff here. We do not do that at all. And our audience will no doubt say that. You should present down at the bottom.
Okay. Yes. Let me check this one. Do you know last time when I tried to share my screen when I first did DIYFPV, I actually shared my site password and like all the
excellent.
Yeah, it was great. So the team behind it were like, right, here's your little write up and everything. Now we've had to put these passwords on and blah blah blah. And yeah, I was like, okay, sweet. And then that's this exact screen that I shared. So if I go present.
And it'll pop up for me, and then I will have to put it up, I think.
Okay. Sharing is easiest with two monitors. Okay, don't show me these tips again.
Oh, Mads doesn't have the link. Oh, all right. Let me send it. I'll send you the link, Ian. Yeah, that's hang on, let's get the link for Mads. Oh, yeah. Right, Ian, I'm going to send you the link via the Watty of the app. Right,
hey, Bruce.
The link.
Okay, Stu, how's it going, mate?
Good.
I'll just move the chairs around.
This isn't confusing, is it?
No.
No. We've got so many Ians in here anyway, so we can have a couple of viewer if you chooses.
Yeah, that's also true.
Has our viewer turned up?
Our viewer has turned up.
Oh, good. Excellent.
A bit of a running joke in my community where a lot of guys, even in the comments, like, hey, Steve, what's going on? Like, let's just, I don't know if they get my name wrong or something like that, or if they're doing it on purpose.
It's Stu with an E and a W, not a U.
Yeah, I know. Blame my mum for that. Like, it's what I want to do forever. It'd be like, do you know how many times I've had to respell my name?
Oh, lots, I should imagine. And how many times I've had to make sure I've written STEW as well. It's makes it a very conscious thing. The very conscious thing. Now I've added Ian. Other Ian should be on his way. I've sent you the link, Ian, in 2 places. Now hurry up. Right, let's share your page, Stu, while we're here. Here we go.
All right. Oh, okay. Well, I've shared the wrong one, but that's fine. Is this still sharing right now?
That's zoomed up.
Okay, cool. So I guess we're talking about DIYFPV, and the part that I think, like, to get a bit of a mind overview of the whole thing, a grand overview, it's just like a place for everyone where I'm trying to build something where it is for everybody that has like so many useful features. So instead of having to, like, I'm all about getting people into the hobby, and I'm sure that's what most of us on here are really passionate about, is just getting that information across. And it is out there, but putting it in one easy to use place, and then some things of like being a teacher and understanding how people learn and the scaffolding behind all that, and just really giving it a deep dive into what makes it an effective tool to get people learning. So we've got a bit of a dashboard. We can talk about any of these, and I really encourage to like some criticism. Like, this is like the wealth of knowledge that you guys have.
This is crap. There you go.
You can't
read my name. My name.
Yeah. bit of shade right there. Yeah. So honestly, and this is the really exciting part, is like when you believe in a project or you've like thought it through, and I like the questions that people have, I'm like so pumped to answer, or like if there's a mistake with it, I want to know about it. I don't want to have a product that looks good. I want to have a product that actually is good and like serves a purpose. And anyway, so we've got DIYFPV, some of the quick little parts that I'm sure that we can come back to and chat about.
What does DIY stand for?
It stands for Dogs in Yellowstone Park.
Excellent.
So it's all of, yep. And probably some of the parts that really I think have caught a lot of people's attention, because I want it to be a really big social place as well, where like connecting pilots, because I feel like that's really important. But a part that seems to have a lot of discussion online and a lot of questions have been about like the catalog part. So what we're doing, we're going to be partnering up with a bunch of stores, and then when you want to find a product or something that you're looking for, you can then, I guess, come down and try to find that exact. Let's have a look. Now, this is all 2 demo stuff, I should say. Like, it's not correctly synced, or like there's still a few things we need to change. But when you look at something, you can, let's see, I don't know where this one's sold, but it'll take you to, you know, all the places, how much it is. Like, this is sort of just like a catalog part. I don't know if you know PC Part Picker. Have you seen that website before? Yeah, just to help you have a look and find the best price and everything, and you know where's got it in stock and where's closest. You can have a whole bunch of different parameters. And
now, interesting. Can I interrupt? Do you have
Yep.
the ability for people to rate supplies so you can see who's good and who's bad? Because that's a more important element for a lot of people than price.
That's really good. So what we will have is basically like an internal trust rating on our site of who we. I'm not sure the exact coding of how it works, but like of which supplier is more reputable, basically, or like how successful that is. And it's not just taking things from their website. It's actually going to be creating our own internal sort of, it's not displayed for the stores to see, but the users, eventually there'll be an aggregate score of like this product. So you want to know, will there be something about like the actual store where you buy it from?
Yeah, because I mean, like the credibility of the supplier is important. You get scammers pop up and things. They might put a really low price, and suddenly everyone buys from them. And...
But here's the thing: you can't. This doesn't just scrape the internet for the results. Like these stores that we have to send them out and verify them that they're a store to be involved. Like we build like a little API package that we can send them and integrate with their store. So I know some places that like just scrape everything and put it in. That's not what this does. So yeah, that's on our end to the stores that you'll see in here. We will have had to manually go through and add all those, which I guess is like a bit of a safety thing. Something that I think a lot of people will like is this right here. So this is the Builder tab, and this has gone through so many iterations. And it started off like just being able to wire a couple of these pads together. I don't know if this is even still live on the demo site, but here's one I prepared earlier where you can import a component. So I'll start a new build. Let's do this. So we go through, we can call this the NZ build. We'll do a 5-inch. That'll do it.
He's Australian. Don't be fooled. He's Australian.
So this, I see why Joshua Bardwell's upset. This makes all his videos irrelevant now because it's all here.
Well, you are going to learn something.
Yeah.
And then okay, so we can add a part. Let's add some default parts, which it looks like we've changed the code, so the defaults are no longer working. There we go. That's fine. We can just go back to this one. But essentially, once you've got your parts, you can put them in here and start adding extra pieces and like a whole wiring diagram and how you're going to put things together is the long and short of it. And then you can take this build, you can share it with other people. You can have access to like the manuals and some other parts directly from here. Where's this selection tool? I think it's if I click up here. So this will take you to a whole bunch of different settings and other places. Let's see, is this still, if I want to add a group as well, like let's pretend this flight controller had some things coming off here. We can add a whole bunch of different, look at this one. It's got 2 grounds in it. That's going to be great for getting the voltage across.
My flight controllers end up with a lot of ground in them.
Yes. A lot of earth, definitely important. So yeah, this is the way that people can get together and make a build wiring diagram. Cliff is saying, do those charts show the actual wiring positions of the components? Now, this is a really good important question, because a lot of people have asked, and I think this is where people are going down the wrong rabbit hole or focusing on the wrong thing. The tool that I'm building is, and I'm sure anyone who's tried to teach something, is if you give them the exact finished product, they're not going to learn as much. You need them to actually do a little bit of work to be like, oh, I see how that is done, and this is what this tool aims to do. When you add this part, you're going to get the option to add these in. You're going to be able to like add the little pads in. You're going to be able to drag these wires. If I go over to the wiring tool, you can drag these wires to somewhere on the board as well. Or if you've got like a ribbon cable, you can add little tags up here that you can connect to as well. When you jump over and look at the manual, it will show you, oh, here's what it does. It's not going to actually wire this all up for you in the first place. You need to do a little bit of work. Like there's the manual if you need to go and look at it. Here's a really easy way to do it. And yeah, that's the question that I think everybody wants answered is this going to do everything for me? No, it's not going to do that. You need to, it's going to give you all the tools and the scaffolding to be able to do that, but it's not going to sit there and do it. And then it doesn't, like a robot arm doesn't come out and solder your whole drone for you in front of you and then fly it for you.
That's a bit of a shortcoming.
I know. But wait for the next Chat GPT 6. That's when that'll happen.
So are you not in danger of, because you're not doing everything for people, once you get to taking them so far and then they're going to get annoyed at you because it doesn't go as far? I'm just being negative about this. And my second comment is the layout that they have for it. Will it help them understand where it sits on the arms a little bit better and things like that?
Well, I guess the first part, will they get up? Like, I mean, some people might read half a book and then get annoyed that they've got to read the rest of the chapters in the end of the book, but they can just go watch a movie. And then what was the second part? The layout of this, I guess. The
physical layout.
Well, that's sort of up to them. If you look at any flight controller diagram, they don't look as pretty and beautiful as this, I might say. I really do like the styling that's going with this, but they all look like this. Like, I think we've come, like, when it comes to form and function, the function of this is sort of the key part. That's the important part. Like, if they don't know that a motor goes on the arm, I mean, there's only so much I can expect.
Lead them towards
maybe they shouldn't be holding a radio if they don't know that the motor goes on the arm. However, there is a lot of safety features that we want to bring in here. Like, hey, I've noticed you've bought a 30x30 stack and your ESC is a 20x20, like, and your frame has 25x25 mounting holes.
Sure.
Like those pieces that we can get data for and little, I don't know what the technical coding term is, but like, let's say a category or a tag for, we can write some code that will give a couple of warnings. Like, one of the things we've got as well for a bit of a preliminary early thing is, if you are wiring this up and you're connecting like a ground to a voltage, there will be a little thing that's like, oh, you have a possible short circuit here. Please check this before doing it, because that's a relatively easy one to do. And a bit of an ethos is we don't have like the Apple resources to be able to do everything for everybody that encompasses like all the dev work that you would need to build a site like that. Like, you could spend so much money and so much dev time doing all these features, but we are just making the best site we can with the resources that we have. So we really prioritize our tasks on what's going to have the biggest impact to get people flying. What can we do with our time and our resources, and then so that sort of drives what we're working towards on our roadmap.
And this bangs out some sort of lovely printable that I can have on my desk ready to go.
It does. There's like a little button, this one just here, which like takes a screenshot. And then let's wonder if this is live, because this is changing all the time. There you go. I don't know if there's a little, it doesn't show up on my screen, but I've got a DIY builder for PNG saved to my computer that I could open up or send to somebody else. Now, There's a lot of other features too besides the builder where you can, there's like a little add to backpack button as well. Or if you want to have a look here, let's see, where's the selection tool? Like we could open this in the catalog as well. Oh, that's not going to share because it's opened it up in a new window on my computer.
Up. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so it'll take you to there, like where you can get it from and those sorts of things. So yeah, that's like the builder part, and then we've got like a social part of like connecting pilots around the world, and there's some really exciting plans that I can't wait to share with people.
Can you actually collaborate when you're doing this? So can you invite someone to come and assist if you're building this?
That's a really good question. To be honest, I don't think that's implemented at the moment, but I don't see any issue why you shouldn't. I think you can comment on other people's builds. I don't know at the moment if you can wire up other people's builds, or I guess there is a setting between like public and private and published. Because you don't want to put a build out there and then everyone can muck around with it and sort of change some things, like if you're going to be doing a guide or those things. But yeah.
Which sort of sounds like a thing you could have if you could have a team setting. So as a team, you could do it as a group. And then you could say, ours is faster than yours, or ours is cheaper than yours, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, Bruce is very quiet and Ian's very quiet. Now, this worries me. I'll be being diplomatic.
My name's Dustin.
MadTech's mic is muted, so, that's always helpful.
It's always better that it's muted, Stu, as you should know. In fact, if it's unmuted, I get myself into trouble. That's the problem. No, it looks good. I guess, like I said the same last week, I think that the key to this is how you guys are going to keep it updated, because it's going to bury you if you're not careful. Do you know what I mean? The amount of, like, I run a very small wiki, which takes more time than I have to keep updating, and there's barely anything on it. The problem with something like this is it's an incredible time suck. I love the way it looks. I like how that looks there. I think there's always going to be this fine line of, there are people who are going to say, well, I still wired it wrong and your website didn't tell me. Well, as you rightly said earlier, there is a point of, how far do you go with this? Do you actually end up having to show them every single wire? I think what's really interesting is it gives you a very nice overview of how things should be laid out. So your camera goes to VTX or cam in, your O3 or your avatar goes to a BEC rather than battery, and things like this. But it's just keeping it updated. That's the key. On the store side of it, so the idea is people will be able to buy it. Now, you may have discussed this and I may have missed it because I was having camera problems. So from running the website, is that going to be affiliate links? Is there going to be kickback from retailers so you can fund the website? What's the score with that, Stu?
Well, we got like 7 questions there. Do you want me to start from the start, or like do you go through them one by one? What do you want me to tackle first?
It's a bit traditional.
Whatever you want to do.
No, I don't want to ignore any of them. That's what's great when you believe in a product. I'm like being so excited just to talk about this and be completely transparent on how it's going to work. So when it comes to like funding of the site, so there's no ads on the site, which I think is important, because there's other sites that, like Oscar Liang has a whole bunch of great information, but when I go there, there's like 400. It's like a banner surrounded of ads on all 4 sides, like a picture frame of ads with the information in the middle. It's not subscription based. It's not locked away or anything like that. Our funding model, we want to make a service that we find basically taking the inefficiencies of a market and using that that's sort of the part where we hope to get some fundings from. So when someone wants to go and buy something, if we can save them time and money and connect them with a store as well, now that store will be like, oh, we are selling more to this site. We can support that site in the future. We'd like to partner up with you. We have to see how much value this adds first. Like, this could be a complete flop, and it's just like, hey, here for the 4 people that want to use this, here's a great wiring diagram that you can use. But that's sort of how we plan to fund the store in the future, is those partnerships with the stores that are integrated in here. Hopefully they see the value that we're having. It's not an affiliate from us or anything like that. And if people even want to use their own affiliates, like I know Bruce loves affiliates, he says all the time, all the time. But yeah, like if you're a big creator as well, you can make your own guides and pages and things like that. You've done a lot of hard work. Like, I mean, I use affiliates, and if someone else wants to use them, I don't want to stop them and put mine in there or anything like that. Like, that's for them to put in. They can do that. Or if they don't want to use affiliates, they can do that as well. In terms of the funding, I don't know what you guys.
I've got an idea I should talk to you about, Stu, but how this could be much better and far more attractive to the users. I'll talk to you offline. I'll talk about it to you offline because it's good.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's like, yep. All right.
Whatever he offers you, Stu, pushing for 10% more, right?
Yeah.
No. No, the timing is right. The market is right.
He's
all
like
right, Shark.
Boss,
so here's my counter offer to that. There we go, Bruce, off on Shark Tank.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I'm trying to think of some Shark Tank words, and I can't get them.
And it doesn't involve the use of miners.
Okay, let's. Thank you. I will talk to you. I would love to. I actually do have some questions for you guys. Maybe off stream about some things, and I guess some ideas that I need a little bit more technical expertise on. How are we going to keep this up to date? Like, that's a really big one. I know that a lot of people have asked about, and there's like a multi-step solution when it comes to the builder on what is like how we're going to do this, because he's absolutely right. I can't do every flight controller for every single part, for every single motor, for every single ESC, for every single receiver. It's a ridiculous, stupid waste of time to be able to do that. However, we are when I look at that problem and what's going to have the biggest impact to the community, what's going to get the most people flying, we're going to have a bunch of nice parts like this for our high priority parts. So we're talking about things like the Mamba stacks and your most common flight controllers and ESCs, your most common cameras. Then you've got your digital pieces like the analogs and the walk snails and the O3 air units and those parts. They're really easy components too that a lot of people are going to use. They're like high frequency, high priority parts that are going to be putting in here. For the parts we don't have that aren't developed yet, or they're like a bit of a one-off or something, well, we're going to have some nice default flight controllers. So like a 20x20 or a 30x30, which, yes, you will get this image. It will look a little bit different to the exact product matchup, because a lot of these are very close to one-to-ones for like the first amount of, I don't want to say an actual number that we're trying to hit before launch, but because I don't want to put the artist under too much pressure, but we're trying to have a lot of those parts done. But if you don't come across a part when you're importing it into the builder, then you can use a default part. It's still going to be in this nice easy sort of visual representation. And then there's also, we are toying up with the idea of like having an option. Well, okay, you don't like the default part. We don't have, it's not a high frequency priority part. You can also put your own part, your own image in there that then you can wire up to if you want to share that. So that's sort of how we'd keep up with having this. You should be able to do the build. Here's the most important part. Like, I'd have to find my design doc for this builder, but I think the aim was to easily show and represent a wiring diagram for a build. So you will be able to do that whether with a high priority part, whether with a default part, or even if you don't like those, you can use your own custom part. That's how we plan to keep up with it, Ian. It's just those three ways are how we're going to sort of target it. It doesn't have to hit everything.
You're going to encourage manufacturers to do this, put their new products up here and set up everything so that, you know, at launch, all that data is available?
Well, that's why we've been working on it for a little while in the background. Like, this store's been going, I don't know if you can have a look at when DIYFPV was registered. Also, I'm not the technical coding person, but you can see this website's been around for an awful long time. The way, like, when it comes to what parts we will put in here, at the launch, it will be, I guess, like, we've reached out to vendors and stores and being like, okay, give me your 50 top products. Like, what's the most popular flight controller? What's the most popular ESC? So we know what to focus on, what to spend our time on. But as this goes further in the future and more people use this site, we'll be able to see those analytics of like, man, 20% of the builds this week used an analog, used a Ratel camera. So we're like, oh, we don't have that matched up right now. Let's focus on that. Let's put that in the queue for the artist to work on before the other ones.
I was going to say, are you considering having you could almost build something out of the most popular parts this month. This is how it would look if you use the most popular camera, most popular motors, most popular whatever for the last 30 days. This is what it would look like. Or some sort of feature like that, or showing people that so many people have bought this camera or this flight controller.
I'm sure there will be information on here that you might be able to say, hey, look, this person used this in this build and those sorts of things. But as far as me building it every month, I'm not going to be doing that. Like, it's sort of up to the community if they want to make these, if they want to make builds and publish them and share them online and things like that. That's sort of community driven. Like, if there's a value.
Do you see the potential here for developing a really big community, not so much around the part picker, but you go there, you see a motor and you think, should I use that? And you go to a forum post and you can see what other people's experience with this motor, caveats and so forth. So in the decision-making process, it's not just price, it's not just supplier, but what do other people think of this? If you can concentrate all that information in one single resource, that becomes incredibly valuable and powerful, doesn't it?
Well, that's why when you click on that little part down the side, so we've got like guides and like troubleshooting here, which as well, we'll be able to have questions and answers, and you can link in here in like these posts and blogs. Everything is like interlinked together, where you can have links straight to your builder, straight to my flight controller caught flames right on this part. Where can I help that? Like part of this as well.
Will you be listing fire extinguishers as well? This could be handy, actually.
Well, I don't know. It depends if those big, I don't know. I don't even know some fire extinguisher brands, but if they want to jump on board, sure, send me some over. I actually have a fire extinguisher downstairs, I should say. My dad laughed at this because he said, "Oh, what's in that red box on the wall?" I said, "Oh, that's a fire extinguisher case." And I opened it up, but I don't have a fire extinguisher to go in there. That's something I should look into.
Oh, but so you'll be able very good. You've got the case, but not the
halfway there, right? 50% fire reduction.
Yeah, we keep a bottle of whiskey in ours at school. But anyway,
so you will be able to link those. Can we report errors, and how quick can they be corrected? How quick can they be corrected? That's I can't answer that question. I guess that hopefully sooner than later. Like, that just depends on how much resources and time and things that we're working on, how much support we have.
Would you actually allow a certain amount of people to actually moderate that? So, for example, Ian,
no.
I just said example. I didn't say factual. But would you give? If people wanted to be, let's say, part of, let's say the support team that you would trust, if you would give, I don't know, five or 10 people that you would trust that would be able to do that. Is that something that you are going to do? Or?
Yeah, like it's not just me making this. Like there's a team behind this, and we're always open to bringing people on board and making the best product that we can to get as many people flying as we can. Like I've got, I've been in here for a long time, but that doesn't mean people can't come on board and make an amazing community tool that we can all use. Can we get the CAD files for the parts listed as well, like the motors, arms? Do you mean these images? Is that what you mean in the builder? So what? I wonder if that's what that person meant. You can print these out, or am I missing?
I just think he means with the proper dimensions and things, so you can cut out and keep them. Make it out of cardboard to start with,
or print your own on your 3D printer.
Print your own, exactly. Yes, those ones as well. Yeah, Philip has all his parts in 3D.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure you can just like put an individual piece and save that image. I'm not sure how these are, if these are actual CAD files. They're like
that's what Mike was after.
When you're designing the 3D, it's handy to have those.
So you can use it in SolidWorks.
Dimensional diagrams.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to say no.
Well,
But again, if you've got a system that's maintainable by the user base, people could upload that stuff, couldn't they? In the forums or comments section, say, you know, here's a dimensional diagram for this particular motor if you're modeling something, you know. So the big thing would be you don't want to do all the work. In fact, you want to do the least amount of work possible, but you want to enable other people to contribute. That's how user generated content works. And so you leverage that to get a massive amount of data, and you're just a facilitator for the aggregation of that data.
Yeah, I'm building the scaffolding. You guys can build the house. I'm building all the scaffolding to let everybody be able to build the house as easily as they can, with all the information, all the textbooks, all the tools, all the hammers, all the bricks and mortar are there. Yeah, we just need the user to come and use it. I'm not building your house. You can do that yourself.
So you're the dodgy builder on the scaffolding with your backside showing, whistling at all the girls walking past. That's what you're saying. You're that dodgy builder on the scaffolding. I've seen
the money's in traffic management, mate. Cones on the roadside. That's where the money is.
Cones on the roadside.
I'm back. Yes, I don't know. I'm sorry, my microphone just ducked out there. Dodgy builder, right. Yes, absolutely. What about flight controller setup from Sparky FPV? Like, guess what? Like, in what regards? How to wire it up? Will you be able to access the
walking through the configurator, probably?
Well, that's where you can look at a wiring diagram that's, you know, already on the manual. When you go to buy that piece, you can say, oh, look, we should be able to click here.
Probably the next step after assembly, though, when you put it all together, and you need to then set up your well, not your PIDs these days, just use a template, but set up your channels and so forth. And I guess a guide like that. These would be guides that you would have online to assist people in each stage of the operation.
Well, then that depends if users want to build those things. So if they're like, hey, I've made this amazing build. Here is like I've got some guides that I've pre-written for this that when it comes to launch. But it's got like, you know, we'll have like, I'm sure that you look at any RC forum and there's always places like, here's how I set up my flight controller, or how I enable GPS, like that. Those articles. Hopefully, the plan is they will become user generated, like you mentioned, Bruce. FPV Steve. I didn't read that. Yep, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I'll put it back.
This would definitely be a great incentive to contribute data. Of course, quality control of submissions would have to be rigorously kept in check. So I guess if you're there will be like a bit of a rating system, and we've had discussions about like to let people a quick, easy way to visually show like, oh, look at this person. They're a expert builder or a legend builder, or they've helped 10 people in this. Like, you'll be able to have a very small amount of little tags you can see on posts that are user generated to give you sort of a trust rating of like, oh, this person really knows what they're doing. Or like we mentioned, having one of the most popular builds on here. If a user makes that and a lot of people can see that, and you can upvote it or downvote it or give it props, is my little catchphrase that we're going to
without props.
Yeah. So we'll be giving things props, basically, is to, you know, like anything, if you look on Reddit or a website, there's upvotes and downvotes to let you know that what the community feels like it. Well, I'm going to ask you guys. Oh, yeah.
Go on then.
What's most important when it comes to like where you guys aren't just flying around in a field? Why did you start doing this? Like, why do you make content? Why do you share information?
It's just the money, mate. It's just the money. That's all it is. we enjoy our lifestyles with the Porsches, Lamborghinis, and the holidays. You must know, Stu. You're a creator.
I did, and I saw Mad Tech. He had chocolate biscuits a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
he
yeah.
was
He goes over the top.
Like, come on, mate. I'm here on the plain biscuits, and you got the chocolate one, man. Come on.
I won't mind.
Where's my link?
A lot of you've got cheek to be moaning. If you're trying to do social media on Twitter, then you can moan. Anyway.
It's always. I was going to say it's for. No, I won't say what I was going to say. But yeah, look, anything informative is good. Is good, isn't it? And it's a tough one. Is why anyone does this, because you have to be insane to do this. You actually have to be mad to put up with. Or a narcissist. It's a slightly narcissist.
Why do you do it? Why do you do it? Honestly, what makes you want to make?
I don't know anymore. I used to
why
know,
did you
but
start?
I can't really
Why did you start?
You start because you just want to share information. The very truth is, if you know something that someone else doesn't know, and you've spent hours figuring it out, why not share that and stop that person having to spend those same hours trying to figure it out? And that was really what it came down to. And for me, it was actually very simple. I did this for a very long time, very badly, continuing to do so today very badly. And you just sort of spend all this time and you think, if only there was something on that, and there isn't, you go, right, I'm going to put it out there. And that is why, at the end of the day, it's to help people. That's the reality.
That's
I'm not
the
sure what
Northern
is different.
Hemisphere version of that.
Yeah.
To help people. Yeah, I think that's exactly why we all started. I mean, coming from being a school teacher to here, it's just, we want to make people's lives better. I love this hobby. I love what it did for me so much that I want to share that with as many people as I can. And that's the main focus of this website, is just to get people flying, to give them the right information. And also a big part that we haven't touched on with DIYFPV is the community as well. Like, we've there's like a world map when you onboard. If you would like to put in your data, you don't have to put in all your DNA results and your genomes and those sorts of things. But if you would like to put in your postcode, and hey, look, you can zoom out and it can say, oh, look, there's 7 pilots around me. I never knew there was a community in
It's
FPV.
like FPV Tinder.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's
Swipe left, swipe right.
yeah. And you can go check out
I
spots.
think, to be
and-
honest with you, it's more like Grindr, I think, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, well, 98% of my audience is male. So yeah, you just like to be connecting with other pilots. So I it's like helping people and also connecting them and flying with them, because there's just, when you're mucking around with mates in the field, like smashing drones and planes
Cool, sharing the
exploding.
blame.
Yeah. And they can help carry your kit, and all your camera gear. So, there's other advantages too.
Carry it.
Yeah. Just
Well,
help
yeah,
people
we
get
didn't
flying and
really
connect.
talk about the community side of it. So I am quite intrigued as to how that's going to work and go into those great diagrams. UAV Future certainly has a great following already. You're hoping everybody will jump aboard. It's not costing them anything to do. Is that not going to take just as much time running that community as keeping the flight controller information up to date?
I mean, like any website, you'll have good eggs and bad eggs, and that's where we spoke about having like some moderators and like any place that is online, it needs to be, there needs to be someone needs to be in control of some of that sort of thing. However, it's not the other co-founder of this, Tom's. It's not his first rodeo. He's been in website development for a long time. He's got his own web agency. He's done some really cool things this is like a passion project for him. So I'm hoping, and I'm sure that he has some answers to, like, here's how for his clients in the past he's been able to create systems that work with that. Because I'm not going through and moderating every single comment. That would be a complete waste of my time and resources, and it doesn't go back to, why am I doing this? To help people in the hobby, to get them flying, to share information and connect them with others.
How much would it be moderated? Let's say that if there were people from a certain country that would want to abuse information and put information on there that, let's say, wouldn't be welcome to the public.
Like, are we talking like a military thing here? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. But obviously DIY. But not. Yeah.
I think, well, that would be up to the way I would handle that, and I'd have to look. I'm just going on how I feel about this. This isn't implemented yet, but I would say, hey, look, this post has been flagged 7 times, 8 times. It automatically comes down for a moderation check, and then we can deal with that from there.
I can see a bit of a future for this but it instantly takes you. Well, you can almost make a site called DIY Drones, but it instantly takes you out of the realm of FPV, and that would be NDAA compliant stuff in the States. A lot of people are going to be wanting to build systems like that potentially. And as an aside, Ian, go on after you.
Well, that's like. Well, there's a lot. So this is what I like, having these conversations and when these ideas pop up, because we've spoken about, like, remote ID and those parts. Like there will be dedicated sections that will help people. That's one of those, like, here's a priority task. It affects this large demographic of people. Information on that will have a great impact to getting people flying. Versus if I do best long range setups for Antarctica flying at night, well, I mean, that Venn diagram of my audience and FPV members is probably quite small, so I'm not going to focus on that.
Yeah.
And there's money to be made here, right, by establishing this in the FPV community and then selling this scaffolding to other communities.
Well,
that's where the money's to be made by selling the
DIY wings, DIY RC, like this can move what we're building on here. It can move to other industries. I mean, honestly, with this builder, I feel like I could wire up a microwave if I had a bit of time, and I could make a building schematic on how to wire a microwave together if I had the knowledge on how to do that using the tools and the scaffolding that we're building in DIYFPV. I feel like it's a really powerful thing. And look, there is places, I should say, online too, where you can do these things. You can sort products. You can find communities. You can find maps of pilots. You can find stores. You can find builders. You can go to a website to download the manual. But this is like, I hate doing all that stuff. Going to all those. This is everything that's all neatly integrated. Here's all the information. And the way I feel really confident about this is sometimes when I'm going to make a video and I need to find a product and I'm like, man, I wish my site was live, because then I could, like, I'm wanting to use it myself personally for a lot of the features that that's like, I'm running into those problems. Like, oh, if this was like, I'm solving that. I'm using it myself. So that's where that makes me really excited that I'm on the right path as well. Plus the response has been pretty positive, I think, from
I need to come with a public service announcement at this point and say, hey kids, don't try wiring up a microwave at home. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, do it man, it's not
if you do it wrong.
Yeah, just do it right.
And that's where Stu would be helping, keeping
You
kids
have to
safe.
learn from your mistakes. You must learn from your mistakes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then natural selection,
Not
just
your
helping
fatal
along
ones,
natural selection then.
Well, I think I'm probably the only qualified microwave engineer here.
Oh, yes.
Well,
I can actually tell you that it's perfectly fine. Do not lick the terminals, right? Whatever you do, just do not. But no, they are. I think anything that helps people is great. The reality is that, when I looked at it, I just thought it's a mammoth task to do it. That's always the thing. But that's the problem as someone like me. And this is where people like me have to be careful, because I will always see the downsides, because I'm in the industry, because I run a small website. I know. So that's one of the reasons it's easy for me to say, oh my God, can you imagine the work of doing that? Or can you imagine how but the reality is anything that helps people is a benefit. That's the reality.
What's the mammoth part though? Can I ask that part, and then we'll get back to John's
I think the parts that you got to be careful. Take flight controllers. Manufacturers have a habit of changing crap without telling anyone. So, for instance, you can have a V1 on there, and then suddenly something changes. They ship a V2, and they move half the ports around. This stuff happens at times.
But I'm going to say, if that's done, though, you're still going to have the link to the manual. You still need to wire it up. So you still need to make sure that and if that pad is like, oh, my flight controller here looks completely different to this physical one they've sent me, then I'm hoping that somebody who, if you can't figure this out, you shouldn't be flying drones. But you can be like, oh, this one's bright green and has 7 pads, and the one in the picture is purple and has 2 pads. This isn't right. So they'll be able to look at the manual and then maybe put a default part in, put their own image up there, and then match it and draw it themselves. So that's sort of where that's the part of like keeping it up to date and correct so users don't break it. The onus goes back onto them. The manual's there, and if some things get changed and they don't notice that, well, that's sort of, if it looks different, you're not just going to stick your soldering iron and go ham without sort of checking those things, I think, anyway.
And then to John's question, who do you see ending up?
So just to clarify, who do you end up seeing as the biggest contributor to the site in both short and long term? Who will lift it up first? I think that the community, like I am like the team we are building is really good at what they can. Like I love teaching. I love sharing knowledge. I don't know the first thing about coding, so that's not my job. Tom's is an FPV pilot. He's like the other co-founder. He is great at making that code and making websites and really cool technology you can put in them. Then we've got like the artists as well. So from the FPV guidebook, we've got Ray Nolan. He's like really good at design and technical drawing. So we will be doing that part. As far as like if there's value there, well, that's up to the community. Like if they want to use it or if they don't want to use it. That's sort of, I don't know, but hopefully like if you build it, they will come. If it's, and there's currently nothing like this out here. Like the when I look at what this website does in like all in one place that hits all this, that also has the beauty about what I do as well. I've got industry contacts, a lot of people I can lean on and talk and easily get, like, it's a lot easier for me to get the social word out and the partner, I guess the commercial side out as well, using my audience and following and connections as well. So I bring a lot of those strengths to the team. I guess that's how we do it. And then if the community likes it, they will hopefully start using it. And if they don't, we'll have one kid who's wired up a microwave.
And as Sparky says, when does it go live? That is a key question, isn't it?
It is. So if I look at the roadmap, there's a couple of targets we want to hit. So we've been working a lot on the features and getting those things. Now we are working on integrating more stores. We need to streamline down the way that it sorts and categorizes, because there's actually a little bit more. It's not quite so easy to take somebody's, here's all the sites, here's all the products, and correctly filter them and match them with a completely other store's database, which does something completely different. That's actually quite an involved process. We want to have like 95% accuracy in terms of like sorting, and then we're going to launch it to some early access users and testers and those sorts of things. And then we've got like a launch 1.0 lined up. I would say in the next couple of months anyway, it should be pretty close. And we've had to actually, like, there's so many cool features that I'm like, oh, this is great, but we just want to focus on the core basics first before we move on to the others. And the thing with the 4 parts you saw today, they sort of need to go together. So you need the builder, which can easily link and import and export products from the catalog. You need the help section, because that links to builder as well. Like we've got you need like a guides part, which says, hey, here's how to set my drone up. Here's how I did beta flight versus on this build and this wiring schematic we did here. So those features need to sort of all launch at the same time. You know, it's no point launching one. Then in the future, we've got like the pilot map and those things. That's one feature that can just come a little bit after, and then the next feature. And we've got race integration and beta flight stuff, and yeah, some cool things.
It's a big job. It is, and I think what's going to be critical is the way that it highlights any snags. It should be very obvious and easy. If yeah, let's say 10 people have reported controller X catches fire, then suddenly it has a little fire label on it or something on the site or something like that, you know, so people quickly can see where the problems lies, because people are going to be upset if they build a system based on what they'll perceive as recommendations, and then it falls apart, and then they dig a little. If they have to, what I'm trying to say is they have to dig too deeply, then they find that nobody recommends it, then they're not going to be happy with you, because that's going to be the problem with any business is customers, isn't it?
Yeah, but so I'm not building those builds. Like that's like if someone else
Oh, you are. Oh, you are. I
mean, they can get angry at my build. I mean, no, sorry. I mean, on this website, if someone gets angry at a build that I've done, I can take that. That's my fault, or you know, be angry. I can comment on those. If you know, Ian puts a build up here and it's amazing and people like it, that's great. If Ian puts a build up here and it's bad, well, and people get angry at him because he's done that, they can't get angry at me for something else someone's created. You can't get upset at me selling the paints because you painted a picture of something you're not happy with.
Wait a minute, Stu. You've been on YouTube a long time. Surely you know how this works.
Don't you read the comments?
My comments, yeah, I do. I've been on YouTube for a long time. I have I've developed a thick, calloused, hard skin that is only porous to positivity. So, yeah.
I think you'll personally, I think you'll be surprised at the number of people that will directly blame you for the builds that they've incorrectly
Jerry
chucked
will.
together.
Goodness nature.
I will, yeah, it is. No, but people do. You put stuff up, and it's RTFM, isn't it? And they don't RTFM, and so they're still angry with you. FX Snow saying pairing with a sim company. That is probably another good idea. And having its own sim. I mean, boom, into 3D. That'd be amazing.
Well, I'm not. I'll just let you read my reaction to there. We have spoken about that, and I'm not announcing anything, but it's not the priority at the moment, right? And no point making a sim if 3 people are using this, but there's a lot of possibilities here for some really, really interesting things. We just need to get the basics right first, and at the heart of it, build a tool and a community that connects people and helps them get flying. That's it. If we get that right, then those other things might come along and might make it even better. If we don't get that right at the start, then there's no point having, you can have as many dream stretch goals as you want, but unless you're really knuckling down and doing the basics right, all the other stuff is useless.
I wish you all the best with it, and I hope it goes really well. And I could definitely see a space for something like this, and it'd be interesting to see how it changes as time goes by.
And it has one advantage: it's powered by passion.
Yes.
Make
sure you make sure we all notice that because I won't do nothing until it's launched. But when it's launched, give us a shout, and we'll make sure we cover it on the channel as well.
Yeah, we'll criticize the hell out of it.
Yeah, go for it.
More drama on YouTube. That's what gets the clicks, mate.
You can criticize it because, I'm really when you believe in something and you're happy and passionate about something, and you've gone through all these conversations and you've been working on it for a long time, and you've documented your process and you have a clear ethos on what you want to work towards. Those criticisms are great because they're the same ones that we've asked ourselves. How do we solve this problem? What do we do here? How is this going to help people or not help people? So any criticism, I 100% am as long as it's valid, is hey, Stuart, your face looks super punchable.
Ian will get the URL stitched on the back of his chair so that when he's shilling the chair, you'll
when I'm shilling the chair, yeah.
DIYFPV chocolate biscuits.
Hey, people pay good money
biscuits.
for that, Bruce. That's the most expensive spot on this stream.
Because Ian's endorsement's quite important. I mean, he's just endorsed Apple and Patreon. He thinks it's great.
And DJI, apparently.
Oh, don't get me started on Patreon, Bruce.
Oh no, Apple, they're lovely people. Oh, you got Apple. You got an Apple phone, haven't you?
I have 5 Apple phones.
It's your fault.
5 Apple. You see the YouTuber lifestyle. There it is.
Dealer. There are
one for each hand, one for each foot.
No,
and I'm not going to say where the 5th one goes.
I am a Mac user. Look. I am a Mac user. I am an iPhone user. I have been since the very first.
This is like confession in the church, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tell me, son, what have you done wrong?
But we know you keep your MacBooks outside in the rain because
I do. I left them outside in the rain. I did.
Yeah,
explosion.
Yeah, 2 days nonetheless. It's very bad for the community. Anyone, a creator, very, very, very bad news indeed. And Bruce made a point on Twitter, and I'll keep this short because it's not really drone related, but it affects anyone who has a creator channel. And today, for people who don't understand, Patreon take 8%, which is fine. For what you pay, that 8% is actually, I shouldn't say this, but you'd pay more to Patreon for what they offer. They actually do a very good job. The issue is Apple are forcing not just Patreon, but anyone who uses a subscription service via Apple to use Apple's payment method system. And as a result of that, Apple automatically take 30%. Now, this was a huge argument with the developer behind Fortnite. This has been rolling on for a few years. This isn't new, but it's coming to an end. But now, anyone who signs up to a Patreon via an Apple phone, it will Apple will take 30% of that monthly subscription plus the 8% to Patreon.
I was going to jump in. Good. Serves you right for buying Apple.
No. This is
No,
Apple
but
doesn't-
not.
The iPhone is, I will argue all day long, it is the best tool I have in here. There's a reason I use them. It just works. I've used many Android phones, and in the end,
Samsung's just work.
We
and it's cheaper.
call you a tool.
no, it
We
isn't.
don't
Not
say you're the best
thing I'm
one.
looking at, Ian, isn't. I'm looking at an S24 Ultra right now, and it is Apple money.
No, all the apps on this are cheaper. Apple for ages has been monthly subscription just to get something so I could do a meme, or just to get something so I can put 4 photos together. They'll charge you a monthly subscription, and I'm like, this is insane.
People doing that. This is different. App developers are entitled to make money. That's one thing. This subscription,
Gouging
though,
and making money.
and actually, I wouldn't have an issue.
Apple, you're asking to be gouged.
No, it's not. It's look.
But
I
if you
have
don't
no
like
issues
a
with
company,
the
why do you like? You can have a good product, but that doesn't. If the company's evil, you don't have to buy their part.
No,
There'll be some
look,
owners
the company,
there.
and I wouldn't argue Apple's not evil, but they've never been. They have this subscription thing. Oh no, look, there's far worse out there. If you're going to go down the road of evil, Google.
Oh, sorry.
Microsoft,
Yeah. Okay.
it's they're all bad. This is a particularly nasty thing that I'm surprised they're pushing ahead with, because they're going to get absolutely ruined by the EU on it. It is going to happen. It might not happen today, and it might not happen in the next 3 months. But this is asking for what we had with Microsoft in the 90s, where they almost broke them up over Office. I wouldn't
Will you still
actually
use
care
them
if it
goes
was
ahead?
if it goes ahead. I am highly considering. My issue is I don't want to spend 1,200 quid on a phone that I'm not gonna like using. What I would love is to get my hands. I'm literally looking at the S24 Ultra or the Pixel 9 XL, which is the two biggies, and I'm tempted on the Pixel 9. But it looks a nice phone.
What do you do on there that's so important? This is
trust
what I
you,
don't like. Do you know what?
I want it to just work. I use Android phones all the time for work. What I love about an iPhone, and this is what I've always loved about it, is it just works. There isn't a hesitation. There isn't there's nothing. It just does. Every time I want to do something, it does just work. I've got no tolerance for when I pick up one of my Android phones, which I have, I swipe up to unlock it, and it decides to sit there for 4 seconds for no good reason on a blank screen, and then it will catch up. I've used some high-ish end Androids. I've never used personally the top end, because I always buy the Pro Max top one every 2 to 3 years, and that does me 2 to 3, if you get my meaning. Like today, I have the 13 Pro Max. I actually had the 15 and sent it back. It's the first Apple phone I returned because I thought I just didn't feel the benefit of it. I would probably upgrade this year, but this tax, the most important thing on this tax is it is beyond a joke level. I wouldn't even have a big argument if it was, what's average card processing fees? 3%. You can get a Zettel for your phone for 3% on all card transactions. If Apple were charging 5%, I'd swallow it. But 30% is insane.
As I said on Twitter, YouTube takes 30% of super chats and super thanks just for processing the transaction.
They're running the platform for that, Bruce.
Yeah, but they're not providing any extra service to take that 30%.
But they are giving you the opportunity to collect that money. The difference here is no one had to use Apple's payment processing system. Everyone was quite happy to use their own payment processing system. Apple are now forcing you to use their payment processing system. At the end of the day, with YouTube Super Chats, and I don't like the amount of money YouTube take on them. It is insane. Stu, know this, you know this yourself, Bruce. But they are giving you a platform. And to be fair, YouTube is incredible value when you look at what it would cost to actually do it, to host the videos. If you just look at Vimeo, the cost of Vimeo in itself, just to host your own videos, is insane. So I accept the YouTube tax. This is something completely different.
And there we are. That was a surprising entree into this evening's or this morning's. Has it annoyed you, Ian?
It has, but it's going to hit a lot of people. It's going to hit drone. Patreon is a big part. And here's the real annoyance: is you can't turn it off. And this is where Apple are being particularly nasty. They have threatened Patreon as if I would like just to have the option to say, do not allow signups from an iOS.
Yeah.
They're not allowing them to do that. They have threatened to remove the app if they do that.
I've noticed in my inbox, some people have obviously transferred from Apple to the web, because I've had people have cancelled their Patreon subscription, and then they've gone through and set it up again. So obviously they've moved from the Apple platform to just going through the web with a browser and not having to pay that 30% tax.
It's the world, and we've seen it in drones, we've seen it in everything. Like the subscription model is the world, everything now. It started with Adobe many years ago. For those of us who've been around before, you could buy freaking Photoshop or any of those products anymore. We're next. How long before you don't buy your DJI drone? You lease it, and that's look. Let's be realistic here. It's not going to hit FPV, but from especially a professional point of view, I could really see someone like DJI, especially if these tariffs that are planned to come in the US, if Trump gets in, we're talking 10% on all goods out of China, potentially more if they're not banned. I can actually see the commercial drone industry far more moving to a subscription model because...
Well, let me just bring it back around to drones, which I think is something we've spoken about occasionally.
Once or twice.
I think, and that China thing that you mentioned, I've been looking into that a little bit today, trying to find the actual documents. A lot of people reported that it was easing the restrictions. It's actually tightening the restrictions. It's bringing in a lot of really large products and making people like DJI and Autel say exactly where their gear's going. So that's been kind of misreported, that recent declaration.
The media think easing and tightening are synonyms because they're stupid.
Yes. I've had a cake with that synonym on it. It was very, very nice indeed. So that was just an interesting aside on you mentioning that. And you see, now but I did find actually I've got a bit of an exclusive here, and I think I found the reason why Bruce was late, because I was trawling the internet and I wasn't looking at his OnlyFans page. I was looking at some history channel, and I found this early documentary evidence. And perhaps this is why Bruce was late. And I think the gang here would appreciate this. Yeah, no, there's an early picture there of Bruce with his airplane glue and walking away.
And that's how the glue sniffing craze started.
Exactly. And one of the
things, what a joy that was! Balsa cement, peeling it off your fingers, sniffing the bottle, fantastic.
Exactly. Yeah. Now on the Tokara
super glue,
the kids, they just don't know, do they? What else did I want to share while I'm doing it? It's all going. It's just so smooth, this, isn't it? It's so smooth. The Chirp in the UK, the Chirp reports that there's new one came out today, August 2024. I will put a link in the comments for everyone else. And it's about human performance and limitations this time. And come and do this. I learned about human performance, but battery fell out. Drone took off with incorrectly fitted rotor arms. Swiss cheese. Now this is a good one. In the circuit, lost its power. So I'll put in the comments so everyone can have a look. But what I wanted to say about this Chirp, which is confidential human incident reporting, and particularly the drone one, is I'm not sure they've got the right person writing it. Not to say I could do much better, but it's pretty poor. Pretty weak, I think. So I'll put that in the comments. Rupert Dent, so
Arthur's brother.
It could very well be. And what damage is it going to do? Absolutely none at all. So that's really the grown-up things I had to say or wanted to say, and there wasn't very much of it. So, because we've gone, look, we're over the hour now already. Ian, Right, audience, you know what
Final
to
hour
do.
is always
You all
Ian.
know what. Yeah, you know what to do. So get your biscuits, get your tea or coffee
Get a
going.
pillow.
There's only one person got biscuits. So.
Oh yeah,
Chocolate
that's true.
biscuits,
Yeah,
I got some plain ones.
yeah, I think the days
all
of
the
Ian's
chocolate ones
biscuits
down
with
there,
the
corner.
with the Patreon, with the Apple tax, the days of his biscuits are probably, short and short.
He's going to have to eat 8% less of them.
8% less, 30% less biscuits, isn't it? And I want to ask Ian about open. What's that new FPV system? The one you swore about
You had
on
to
Sunday.
do this, didn't you? You had to go there, didn't you? We are talking about. I'm going to play nice now. We are talking about Open IPC. So yes, are you talking about the new RunCam thing that has landed today out the blue?
No, I was talking just about that thing. Your opinion on the whole, because a friend of mine asked me about it, and I said I'd ask you. And then on Sunday, you did it proper. You did a proper job on Sunday, and I was looking for that video, and it doesn't seem to be anywhere.
It is around, but it is. I have decided for a minute, in the aims of peaceful negotiations, as done by the UN, to bring that offline a minute, and I'm going to put up a couple of extracts from it, rather than, because I want to get the Australian 4x4 thing out there, because that's an important thing people need to back with the guy, with our guy who's being sued by a vendor. That's a hugely important thing that warrants its own video, in fact. But yeah, look, very basics. It's an open source wireless video project. They now have their own hardware, which is very interesting. That does look interesting. Today, out the blue, and this is what I was saying, RunCam have released, I'm going to use the word loosely compatible hardware that appears to be designed for use for it. There is some question marks over how much RunCam have worked with the developers to have that support. And this is a classic of what happens in open source projects. We've seen this with Express LRS. We've seen it with others, that the Chinese manufacturers start to make stuff. I know RunCam didn't do this with just out the blue. There was some conversations, but it isn't clear today to say it is a supported hardware or it isn't. I think that still remains to be seen. Their own hardware looks interesting. So the project has come on a huge amount. I've ordered in all of the hardware. Today I have spent close to $500 on all of the hardware on the various different pieces. It's not that expensive to get into it, but there's a bit of hardware roaming around. So I've ordered it all in. I'm going to evaluate where it is today and then make a decision on, is it something that is right to discuss with the community? And this is the bit developers don't get. And this isn't a criticism of people specifically. When someone like me talks about something, Bruce, Stu, Bardwell, any of the guys, it will bring if we walked out and just said, this is actually good, go check it out. Not only are we putting our sort of stamp of approval on it, but we're also bringing a lot of noise with that as well. And it's not as simple as, I criticized this website quite heavily on Sunday. Number one, for a number of reasons. There was very little information. I wouldn't purchase from a website that doesn't give me the information on where it is, who it is, and what's happening with my data. Remember, you're giving a website a name, address, a telephone number, etc., etc. They have updated it, as you can see now. Things.
I was just going to say, do they appear to have an address and a map pin and other things and a telephone number on there now, which they didn't on Sunday?
Yeah, and I think, look, they're trying to do something that is really hard. To be fair to them, to be completely open, what they're trying to do is really difficult. But that doesn't excuse you from having to do the horrible mundane stuff that makes it difficult. And, if you're going to rubber salt, but this is only so people can get early hardware. Okay, but it's a store. It needs to have the right information there. If you're selling stuff in a Facebook group that's closed and you take in PayPal payments, that's one thing. That's different. But when you have a website up that anyone can go to, it's a thing. But look, ignoring the project a minute, because let me be honest, they are not the biggest fan of me, and that's an understatement, to say the least. I say how I feel, and some people don't like that. It's not because I want to shit all over a project. It's because a lot of the time I'm saying this stuff so people may actually take action and listen. And they might not always like the way it's said, but the reality is it's based in open and honest feedback. And
Scroll down a bit, Gary. Scroll down a bit to the bottom where you were before. Scroll down that page. Go down. Yeah, down. Keep going.
That's it. With that,
Nintendo might be a bit upset by that image.
Yeah. This, yes, yeah. Exactly.
I did say that. They're only the most litigious company on the planet. Yeah. I did warn them, but no, look. So I'm trying to play nice. There's been a lot of discussions in the last 24 hours. I'm pretty much banned from the website, or at least I was, but I'm not now.
What I think is really important is too, like, when companies are doing this, they need to understand that if I would love 10 more systems that are digital for people to jump into. Like, we want the community to have as many options. So to do a criticism of something, it's really valuable, because in the perfect world, like this, if this was amazing, that's what we want. So it's actually harder to criticize something and to be like, it hurts a little bit more to say, oh, sorry, this needs to be up to scratch for it to be competitive, or to offer better value to users to make them want to switch and be this option. Like, I feel that a lot of the times when I review something, like, look, I wish this manufacturer would do this, but it's just not up to scratch. So that's why I would probably recommend this one instead. Like, we want as many options as it is. We don't want to have to say, look, it's not working. I don't like this. Get this one as opposed to.
In the case of this thing, I've looked at some of the videos online, and I think it's not something I'd want to use at this stage as my primary FPV for like a freestyle quad, but it may be suitable for cruising FPV, where it's basically you want to just look. It's not your primary. You don't need totally reliable FPV, but if it's a budget cheaper option for people that want to fly fixed wing with flight controllers and prescribed flight courses, it's perfectly fine. You'll get a picture, but I haven't seen it yet stack up.
No, and the thing is, like, the bar is so high right now. DJI set the bar, and an Avatar is below that bar, but it's still right up there. And the bit I think sometimes, and this isn't a criticism of this project, I think this happens with a lot of projects, is they being within the bubble can say, oh yeah, but we're here, but we can see that. But what a user will do is this, as Stu rightly said earlier, they'll go out and they'll be either an Avatar user, an analog user, or a DJI user, and they are going to expect that level of performance on day one. Very few users will accept that, oh, it freezes for 2 seconds randomly. That's okay. If we think about how Avatar is, and Stu will know this, he flies Avatar a lot, as I do. And look, you're not saying it's perfect, but it is largely, you don't get stutters and freezes. The link doesn't just randomly drop or suddenly give you major issues. It has its faults, but it is very stable overall. And DJI is on another level of that. And you can't, it's easy when you're within a project to think, oh yeah, but that's something we can fix in the future, and don't see it as a problem. The public will be extremely critical because the bar is up here. And my job is to not compare it to where they think it is to compare it to what is out there, because that was what people will expect. Because if I say, hey, this is all right, go check it out, and they do a first flight and they're going, this is nothing like I'm used to, then it's coming back at me. And it is, people like me, I say things that people don't want to hear.
How much is the system?
It's really, well, it's semi-cheap. You should be able to get in for about $150 or less.
So I'm just going to say goodbye to my kids.
Yeah, no worries.
I'll be back in two seconds.
Yeah, you should be able to go in for about 100, 120, 150 as it is today, depending on the hardware you choose. So it is arguably the cheapest digital FPV system. That's a very fair comment. But you have to balance. And as Bruce rightly says, I've seen what Bruce has seen. We both look at the same things. And we look at certain things and go, ooh, that's, you know, you'll see like a stutter, won't you, Bruce? And
Yeah,
you see like
yeah.
a drop frame or two, and you go,
Yeah.
that's a wall. Someone
It doesn't
they're not
handle that sort of
gonna
thing very well. That's the difference with DJI and Avatar. They have much better handling of lost packets and stuff like that. It has resend, but it's not enough.
And look, I'm not being negative. I'm going to try and, you know, I've ordered all of the hardware, and I've ordered all of it now. All of it I have ordered. I'm going to give it a look at where it's at today, and whether I make content is another decision I need to make. I will give an update on where I feel the project is. Look, the project has not taken kindly to the criticism that I've given. It got very messy, very nasty. Accusations were flying left, right, and center. I'm not going to pretend I'm perfect. I'm not going to pretend I am anything that people should even listen to. But when I say something, it's not said for any other reason but what I believe. And that is where it's at, really. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting hardware's landed. And I am on the understanding as the run cam is not the only one. There is more to come.
Can I a small segue here, if I may, about digital FPV? Did anyone ever try the Omway digital?
No.
No, that doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, I often wondered if,
Did they
because
make
I was never allowed to make a video about it. So I've got like an old Omway digital system from about 4 years ago. It's
No.
down. Okay, that might be something for another day. Then we might.
That's
I
a
don't
good
think
video.
they
Yeah,
exist.
that's
They don't exist anymore. So maybe
No.
I can do it. My quad caught on fire, but
You
that
could
wasn't the
title the video
Omway's fault.
"Bullets You Missed."
Yeah, and look, we're really lucky in drones and FPV. The technology is beyond a joke now. You know, we're so lucky. You can get an Avatar HD system up and running for about $250, $270 with their goggles. Actually, it's about $200,
you're ready to go
Yeah.
or something.
There's a lot of really great options out there. Analog, even better. There's some really good analog cameras now. Actually, something that surprised me, Bruce, was how hot some of these new analog cameras get. Jesus,
Yeah, there's a lot of processing
digital
on
was the
board.
problem.
Yeah.
Jesus. But yeah, so look, we'll have to wait and see with it. I'll be talking about it soon, is what I'll say. Gary.
Well, that was a lot more than I was expecting.
As I said, I should have said nothing.
My friend, you know who you are. There's Ian's answer. Yeah, and I thought, oh great, on Sunday night I thought, oh great, he's spoken about it. I'll send on this link, and then I've been looking for that video.
I'll send you a link, but warn him, it's not pretty.
Well, you did manage to, yeah. The swear meter went very high on Sunday night, very high indeed.
I didn't directly tell anyone. Oh, my phone! I didn't directly tell anyone
right now.
That'll be Apple. It's Apple. It's them or Apple.
I didn't tell anyone.
DJI, Apple, whatever.
Yeah. I only called DJI a bunch of. I didn't call anyone else. That's it.
No, they were effers. The rest of them.
I may stop live streaming is the answer.
I'm
actually thinking about it.
Really? Oh,
yes.
It's
like Stu's taking up the slack. He's live streaming all the time now. Don't need you, Ian.
Yeah.
No, just once a week. Yeah. Once a week.
No.
Do you not enjoy, why would you stop live streaming? Do you not enjoy it? I feel like that's really important for, like, the reason I do it is because I enjoy it. Like, I like that connecting feeling. It really is the best part of my working week. But I probably would change if it was having a negative impact on me, or I didn't enjoy it, or it felt laborious in some sort of way, or you preferred working on some other way. Like, why would you stop? Why are you thinking
look, I love doing the stream. What I can't and have learned not to do is self-moderate. So if I cannot, look, I shoot from the hip. People may or may not like that. It is how I am. It is how I feel, and it's the truth. And I will tell someone exactly what I feel. However, in edited content, you have the ability to look at things in the cold light of day a little bit more and go,
and edit
is that really the right message you want to put out there?
Roger.
Rather than calling DJI. But I don't really care about them. They're not my problem. There are times, though, where it is easy to get and it's not that I made a mistake. It's everything I say I stand by, because if you're not going to do that, it's wrong. But sometimes, does that mean it's the right thing to do anyway? And it's the great thing with live streams is you get the raw creator. I love doing it, and actually, it's grown dramatically.
And the super chats.
Oh, 30% of them or whatever you get, but it's really good. But with that comes,
Your accountability is what you are worried about in terms of like or damaging somebody else or a brand, or sending the wrong message which you don't intend because you believe in your messages so much that you send out to people. You don't want to send the wrong one out.
I think sometimes it's better to say nothing than really say what you think at times. That's the truth of everything. Sometimes it's better to say, you know, I'm just gonna leave this subject. And when you're not in live content, it's very easy to do that, which is,
I think the stream is proof of that.
Yes.
We prove it every week.
Yeah, exactly. It should really be just quiet. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's really what we should do. Now,
I might relabel it brutally honest.
This is said by the other Ian. Oh, gosh, it's taking ages to pop up the things. So why did you send me this, Ian?
This has just come out moments ago. It's just interesting because this obviously affects just the UK, but it might interest people that are interested in counter drone and all that malarkey. But yeah, there's going to be slashes to the military budget, and it even mentions at the bottom that it's putting some counter drone projects in jeopardy.
Well, it's interesting that it's the Telegraph, because we know a drone killer radio wave. There we are, the drone killer radio wave. Oh, that's fantastic. We can't do without the drone killer radio wave. How could we possibly do without that?
Build your own microwave now.
There we are.
Using DIYFPV.
There we are. It's all there. And the Tempest supersonic fighter. Well, lots of people are juggling with Gen 5 fighters, is it? Whether they're worth it. That's a conversation that lots of people are having. And Ukraine is currently pointed to them, maybe not. So I think that's quite an easy one, although it does instantly make me think of TSR2. That was Labour, wasn't it, Bruce, that did TSR2? I think it was. But yeah, it's another way of saying big companies, other people are going to be other games are.
That looks like a crashed F-35 with roundels. What's going on with that?
Yeah. And Ian, from the world of Foyers, what have we got? Is that fighter running beta flight? From the world of Foyers, where are we at this
fountain
week?
in your foyer?
There's a few eventful things at the minute. So let's just have a look. Sven, I had something up a moment ago to remind me, and now I've got so many tabs open. It's like, where is it? Right. First of all, the shooting down of the DJI Mini 2, where I was being blagged about personal information, and I'd gone back and said, no, whoa, you can use that exemption because nothing I'm asking for is personal information. Looks like they're now blanking me. I had no response at all, so that's over a week. So I'll probably give it another week more, but that looks like that'll be heading to Information Commissioner, and I think they're going to lose that one badly because you just can't use that exemption for that. It's just nonsense. So that was trying to get to the bottom of if anybody was charged, especially about considering about the firearm as well. If that was licensed and if there's been any action and so on. So yeah,
do they stab drones with knives now that guns are banned?
What's that? Sorry,
knife guns. It's a knife gun
in the UK.
Knife gun. Yes.
That one. What else have we got? We have I've got some here now that are over 3 months overdue and no reply. The Home Office is getting a bit nervous about one that I've asked about, so that's dragging out. So I've got to push that. I've had some very bad news, but it's not going to go down without a fight. Someone had asked Sussex Police for the drone flight logs, and they refused it. Went to the ICO. The ICO always just goes, police force will just well, they must be in the right because of the police. It's like, no. You've got to look at it a bit more than that. But yeah, the ICO supported Sussex Police, but given that the National Police Air Service have put the helicopter logs out, you can't say one needs to be a secret, and when it's just nonsense. So I was going to say that one isn't even public. I've heard about that on the grapevine, but I've reached out to the guy that I know raised that, and I said, look, you need to be going to tribunal with that one. So he's going to do it. He's never done it before, so I've just given him a nudge of what form to fill in and whatnot. So he says he's going to do it.
Time to set your consultancy business. Now I see, because of the riots that happened over there, some aspects of CCTV rules and regs and other electronic interception means are being they're coming forward. I've forgotten the name, Sapient, and it looks to me like unfortunately those riots might have given a great excuse for a lot more Sapient sensors over there. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for that and see.
I was going to say, if you've seen anything, let me know. But I immediately thought that, because obviously they're going facial recognition and all that. So the only thing that we're putting it doubt is seeing that military spending reduction today, which is research and development, which could impact that. But
I think that'll slow down the big headline things like Tempest, but it'll just mean that there's money available for other things like Sapient.
Obviously, given our government has decided that it's going to go full on China, that's definitely going to be one of those. You go, tick, we'll do some more of that.
Exactly. So that's one to watch.
That will be an interesting one to watch. With Sussex Police and the Gatwick drone, the Sussex Police conversation between me and them has been via a legal team for some months now, and that is continuing, and I'm being told that I should be getting a substantive reply this week, so we shall see what that brings.
They've been quite jovial, haven't they? They've been quite
the legal guys
friendly.
It's been professional, and it's been all right. They're not, compared to what I dealt with when I was dealing with the ICO case, where it was really they were really good informing. It was really unpleasant. It's far more professional. So hopefully it stays like that, and we'll make a bit of progress. But we shall see. That reminds me, going back to the legal fight I had with the ICO, I'd ended up in a non-disclosure with some documents, and I've just actually gone back to the judge on those to see if there's some documents that can be excluded from that now, because there was something I wanted to discuss at Drone X. So I've not been given the day and time of the speaking yet, but I would like to get. There's a few bits of evidence I'd like to put into that. So it's really more to just show some of the support there has been in the wider industry helping me with that battle. So it's just really to say, give a nod to a few people, and also to raise their concerns that they'd had about Gatwick at the same time. So, I'm
glad you mentioned that, because I'm going to make sure Philip holds a camera up for us and we live stream that when that happens. We'll make that happen, and it'll be a live stream here on Drone X on whichever day in September you're going, and we'll.
Oh, good, because I was going to ask. I did want someone to do backup, because I'm going to take two. I've got permission already to record it, so I was going to take two cameras anyway. But I always like as many backups, so that sounds like a good idea. Someone live streaming it, and then if everything goes a bit pear shaped with anything I'm recording, at least there's something of it there, which would be good.
At least, like Trump, it'll be recorded.
Well, do you mean we have to get a silly voice maker for him or something like that?
Just the assassination attempt that's inevitably going to happen on Ian in that room.
In that room, yeah. If you won't know this, Stu, but Ian has been really rattling the cage of the Gatwick conspiracy, and Philip Rouse volunteered him to speak at a big conference about it. Hey, nice one, Philip.
Just make sure there's no grassy knoll in that room.
Yeah,
we
they'll-
basically
they'll-
expect every week Ian to turn up washed up on a beach somewhere, yet
Okay.
it thankfully doesn't happen every week. But he is going to fall out of a windowless building
Yeah.
or something.
Cup
Get
of
a new
tea.
job at Boeing for 1 week,
Yeah.
and then for some reason.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice to change his LinkedIn status to Boeing employee? So like that. That'd be great. Right. Look,
And it's
now,
already
enough
time
waffle.
stamped with like a rip after that, like rest in peace on this date, but it's in the future or something. Where at the
Yeah.
drone X date, that's when it is there.
Yes. Yes.
Lived a good
absolutely.
life.
No,
Accident
The
that
preemptive
drone. Wait, this
obituary.
article shouldn't be out yet. We'll read tomorrow's newspaper today.
What, are you staying in a
That's it.
hotel, Ian, before?
Yes.
Is it one of those?
Oh, yeah,
wagons?
Yeah, I'll have to
You
make
were
sure I'm on the ground floor.
Cut off your head while shaving the night before the incident.
Not
Accidentally.
easy to do with an electric razor.
Yeah.
I think it's the Hampton, which is next to Drone X there. That's got about 12 floors on there. I was in the 12th floor. So just make sure you get a ground floor, okay?
Definitely.
very, very good. All right. Look, if we're tidy, we can make this 1 minute 30. Any more for any more? I'm not allowing it, dear viewer, wherever you are in the world. Oh, Stu, thank you very much for coming. Of course, everyone knows you.
Absolute
Futures.
pleasure.
Please hedge yourselves off there now and sign yourselves up. We'll see you all next week. 2100 Gin and Tonic. Take care, everybody. Look after yourselves. Bye-bye.